Hi, everyone. We're just letting people in.
I remember Gavin.
Gavin, right? Yeah, that name looks familiar.
Hi guys.
Hi,
What's up,
Gavin.
man?
Good
Go, you're ready
afternoon.
to learn already. I love that.
Oh yeah, for sure. How y'all doing?
Doing good, man.
Good.
Excited.
Good.
Welcome.
Hi,
Uh,
I'm Mallory. Sorry, I'm doing things right now, so trying to get this meeting at the same time.
Love it.
Okay.
Appreciate that. Just let's put your name on there if you don't mind, but
Sure.
you can still wash dishes no matter what you're doing. Peter and
And if anybody gets muted by me, it's just because I don't know who might have some background noise during this. So I'm just gonna kind of keep everybody on mute for the most part.
All right, let me put that on there.
some more cameras on if
All
you don't
right,
mind.
awesome. And we'll get started in just a few minutes. Waiting for some more people to join. We're almost at capacity. Also, if you guys like leave during this and we are at capacity, you might not be able to get back in right away, but you can stay in the waiting
Oye,
room. So keep that in mind.
no, me
But
compré con esto.
if we do hit capacity, I will most likely buy more depending on how many and just like upgrade capacity. So we could let 200 people in instead.
Let's get some more cameras on if you don't mind.
Yeah, let's get some cameras on, make this a little interactive.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, everyone. Let's go haircut, Quinn.
I'm not gonna allow anybody to record it. Sorry about your note takers. I kept them out.
Yeah, a lot of IP you're going to learn today. A lot of intellectual property.
Yes, for sure. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to share my screen and go through the presentation. You guys could sit back, relax, and just take some notes and learn some things, or you could feel free to interact, ask us questions, throw some stuff in the chat. Obviously, most of you know us from Instagram. My name is Brandon. I'm the CEO, the founder. This is Jess Rowland, the greatest trainer, the greatest coach, hospitality guru right now. I'd say top three, right, Jess? Top three hospitality guru in the world. He has been the regional trainer for Hillstone and Houston's restaurant group for 26 years, which is obviously they're known
Sushi, want to
for
go over
the most
right now?
top level of service. If you guys could mute your mics, that'd be great. I'm just going to stop share, go ahead and mute everybody right now, and then I'll get back into it.
Everyone, thank you. Keep going.
All right. Sweet. Okay, let's get back into it. Just muted some people. So ask some questions. You could throw them right in the chat when we're in this and like just ask questions while we're talking. Feel free. We have a list of questions from Instagram as well, so we'll answer some questions naturally. Feel free to throw them in the chat or at least write them down so you don't forget them, and we'll definitely get to all of them. If we don't get to them during, we'll definitely get to them at the end. So one thing I want to touch on, I've been hearing a lot from owners for the past year or so, or maybe 2 years, 3 years, that after COVID, there's been this huge drop off in the level of service that everybody's seeing. So what we're doing right now is really just trying to our best to bring that back one restaurant at a time, or at least one client at a time. If it's a restaurant group, we'll have 5, 10 restaurants at a time sometimes, which is awesome. Take it from Heather, who's in Destin, Florida, and she did the program last February and March. And she told us and her management staff that they were doing numbers that they were used to doing in the summer. They were doing those numbers in February and March, which is unheard of for them. And actually, their food vendors or liquor vendors were getting questioned by the other restaurants. The other restaurants were asking the vendors, like, what are they doing over there? Which is really cool because all they were doing is our training and really investing in their staff, in their front of the house staff, and also their management staff, which we'll be talking about a lot today, is just investing in your leaders and turning managers into leaders. So anybody on this Zoom, if you make it to the end of the Zoom call, we're automatically going to be emailing you a freebie. Okay, so you don't have to worry about this. This is a free course that will be sent to your email. Okay, and then we will also be making a one-time offer, meaning on this call, we'll be offering you something you could buy that will only be available if you're on this masterclass and if you purchase on this masterclass. Okay. So what's on the agenda today? We're going to cover what makes a great leader. We're going to do some live service training with Jess Rowland, and I want you guys to see that. I want you guys to pay attention. I want you guys to come up with questions while you're watching Jess train because little sneak bit to the end, I want you guys to analyze how he trains because it might influence your decision on purchasing something here today. Okay. We're going to go over some managerial training and then connect it all to how it makes you more money and then finally offer you something. So, without further ado, I'll introduce Jess and let him take over and talk about your training program, what it should be, what do you have going on. We could even interact if somebody wants to share their exact training program, maybe their 5-day sequence when a server starts out, if somebody wants to jump in and talk about that, and we could riff off of your specific restaurant.
Yeah, let me introduce a little bit more before I get going. So I started training servers and bartenders and greeters in about 1995. So I've trained over 10,000 servers and bartenders and greeters, and I come at it from a server point of view. I think that there is a lot of big hospitality books out there about what it is to be hospitable and what warmth is, and really these amazing wow moments from Will Guidara and unreasonable hospitality. And I love all that. But the true training comes down to discipline more than motivation. It comes down to what are your well liquors? What is your address? How many, how many pens do you have on you? Is your hair back? Can you name, can you name 5 starters? It is about repetition of getting your bartenders and greeters and managers to knowledgeable. The reason why, how can we create leaders is to make them more knowledgeable. How do we create more leaders to get them more respect? How do you gain respect? By getting better. And I think these people are being rushed through training in 3 or 4 days and thrown to the wolves. And they're shocked that they got a huge guest complaint 3 weeks later. I believe in passing and repeating every single day. My restaurant does 5 days of training, but you can go upwards of 14 days if you're not ready for the next day. It's not fair if you walk in and get me as a server, and then the next day walk in and get, Amy who got through training in 3 days. Oh, sorry if there's an Amy on here. So training is the why we created this program, and why I was realizing that I don't tell many people this, but I was making $20,000 a year more than every server at my restaurant. Same tables, same sections, same guests. How? What was I doing differently? And I boiled it down to what is impeccable service. And it comes down to speed, accuracy, efficiency, awareness, and knowledge. Let's put them up now. We got speed, accuracy, efficiency, awareness, and knowledge. If you join this program, obviously I will go in deep depth of every single one of these things, but I can't stress enough getting that margarita in 3 minutes versus 8, making sure they're back questioning that allergy so the food comes out correctly, treating your whole section as one is efficiency, and using your team. So much beelining. Beelining is basically when the bee goes from the honey to the flower, back to the honey, back to the flower. That's these servers right now. Awareness. They do not notice that this guy doesn't like lemon. They don't notice that there's no fork on the table and they have a ton of bread and no butter. And lastly, knowledge. You have to be able to describe this menu and these drinks with some energy and enthusiasm. Let me see, everyone. This is the key to service, and this is the key to my program. And I think and now I'm working with back of the house, kitchen guys and girls, leaders, managers. All of this applies to every single thing in a restaurant. How are they answering the phone? What kind of questions are we asking when we're hiring people? What is our spec on our attire? It comes down to deciding what does your restaurant do and what do they don't do. And I'm sorry to say, we are losing some steps and we are losing some specs and we're losing some things that you probably had a couple years ago. So yeah, I'd love to hear from a person to hear really quick, like maybe what your opportunity is in your training program. Now that you've met me for 7 minutes, what do you think the biggest opportunity is in your training program? Anyone can unmute.
I would say at the moment, I've identified one of our biggest challenges to recognizing that we have a young team that is very social media. Their interactions are not in person nearly as much as what many of us have grown up with. So some of the things that we may have intuitively understood, they need to be taught, and we aren't teaching them those social skills.
Love that. And are you doing mock scenarios with them? Are they standing up at Expo and you said, "Hey, should I get the burrata or the friendship sandwich?" Are you asking them to feature you some drinks? Are you asking them to feature you stuff? You don't learn by watching anyone. They probably will definitely not learn by watching you because you're so good. But they have to do it thousands of times. Are they doing mock scenarios and learning in that form?
They are, but it depends on the location and the manager. So
Yes.
I've recently moved into my role and have been going through each location and observing and realizing that why I'm on here today, that it's going to start with our management team because I can't be there. I can't do it for them. So I need
Love
to
it.
get them trained to be able to have confidence that they're going to execute these things and train the proper way when I'm not there.
Great. I love it. This is so perfect why you're here. Now, if you want to continue, if you don't mind, what is the difference between a manager and a leader for you?
Oh, this is something I'm a little nerdy about. So I tend to drive people crazy with some of my little motivational
Under
things.
30
but,
seconds. Yeah, let's do it.
The title doesn't matter. Being a leader is
Right.
setting the example and respectfully holding people accountable, whether they are your boss or your equal or someone that you are tasked with leading. But it's just doing the right thing when nobody's looking.
I love that. Let's clap for, let's give snaps to Crystal. Love that, Crystal.
Thanks, Crystal.
I could talk every single one of these, by the way. If you join our program, I can go on for hours about because I absolutely love this stuff. Managers lead with authority, leaders lead with influence. Managers get stuff done, and leaders inspire them to want to do it. And we need both. And I don't think all managers are leaders, and I don't think all leaders are managers. And we have to start seeing the difference because we need managers. We do need the people to make sure that P&L is right and that that floor was clean and that the restroom checks were done. And she made a good point. Leadership is a choice, not a position. And it's our job as true leaders to get out of our own way to find those people. And I'm sorry to say, yes, they are young, but we were all young one day. We were all young. I want you to find the old Lorraine and when Peter 30 years ago and Scott 10 years ago and Jen 5 years ago and Quinn maybe a year ago because he's young. But we have to find us from the past because I was 18 years old once and a manager inspired me and I was trying to prove him right for 30 years because of that. So that is our job as leaders is to create more leaders. And that does come from making people better. And that is respect versus fear. And I'm going to bring it up. Should there be some fear in there? Absolutely. But it should be 90% respect and 10% fear. And how do you garner respect? By making people better. How do I know I'm a good leader at my restaurant? Because I'm asked 100 questions a week. Literally 100 questions a week. People are coming up to me and asking me questions. Means that I have the aura of you can't ever ask me a bad question. And that is really, really what we're looking for. And that's what we're trying to cultivate from these people. And same with your trainers. The best server does not always make the best trainer. The best server cuts corners. The best server says, we're supposed to do it like this, but try it like this. It works for me. The best server is impatient. The best server is just going to be type A and do it for them. So we really have to create that. And I have a huge program on training the trainers, which is ideal for that. Great. Let's meet some more people.
Yeah, I just want to also make sure you guys all write this down. When it comes to finding the right trainers or leaders in general, Jess mentioned you want to notice who's getting asked the questions. Okay, so naturally people wanted to go to Jess and ask him questions. So you could see that the leadership qualities in him. So who makes people in your restaurant feel comfortable enough to actually come up to them and ask them the questions? That's how you know you have a leader and you can invest in them. It doesn't matter their age, it doesn't matter literally anything. Besides the fact that they're a great leader and you could ask them, pull them aside one day after a shift and ask them to lead with you and invest in them and hey, I see something in you. And that's what they did with Jess. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's hear from somebody else.
Next, I want to ask, name one of your managers that had maybe and analyze their manager style. Like, what is some of these?
To give it to the bar.
What are some of your styles of managing that you think? Like, what, good or bad? Anyone want to share one of your manager's style of managing?
Style manager. Okay, I like that.
Advanced question.
Advanced a bit.
A little
You
bit
can handle
advanced.
it. I feel like I've noticed a lot of managers who just think like, oh, if I do it and I just like pre-bus for them, it's like lead by example, and they think that's like such a good thing.
It
How do
is
you
to
feel
a
about
point.
that?
It
Yeah.
is to a point, but if you're doing 80% of the work, you're only letting them do 20. If you are doing 80% of the work, you are only letting your managers do 20. And I've seen those type A's. I've seen those people that jump in, I'll do it the best, but you're not letting them grow. And so I would want to enforce, this is a Jess Rowland, class right now. I prefer advice over feedback. I'm going to say it again. Feedback is necessary, and it's what they did wrong or what the opportunity was. But advice is, what are we going to try tomorrow? How are we going to work on this for the next day? I love how this happened on this table. If let's change this way of saying it. You walked up to that table and what happened? And she goes, "Oh, I said, have you been here before?" And I go, "What did the guest say?" "Yeah, you waited on me last week." And she goes, "That, and then how did that make you feel?" "Not great." "Perfect. So let's work. That happens often. So let's figure out that verbiage right now. What should we try? How about we try who's familiar with our menu?" She's like, "Oh yeah, that's good." And she's been trying that now. She comes back to me and said, "I did who's familiar with our menu, and it was perfect how some had been here and some hadn't." That is advice over feedback. And we can do that of almost anything: manicuring, food knowledge, guest ringing orders, carrying glassware. If I see another person carry glassware with their fingers in my cup, I'm going to lose it. But I've coached so much at my restaurant that all I have to do is put my eyebrows up and they're like, "Sorry, Coach Jess." I want us to coach so much that it feels like breathing for them. And that's why I want to change the word training to coaching. Training ends and coaching is forever. And coaching is neutral. It is a batting average. "I love that you did this. Let's try this." "Ooh, I used to do this. Let's try this." It is so important that we're really investing in these people, because even criticism and feedback equals investment. I hope everyone understands that. The day that I give up on servers at my restaurant, they last another 3 weeks because I can't help them. They're not coachable. Are we looking for coachable people too? I can go on and on about hiring. I want to look for coachability, warmth, enthusiasm, and energy way more than I worked at Cheesecake for 7 years.
Yeah, write those down, guys.
Warmth, coachability, and integrity and curiosity. Are they asking you questions in this interview? Do they have good eye contact? A lot of this job is performative. I can't tell you enough. They know every ingredient, but it doesn't matter if they aren't performing it. And so moving forward, I want you to write this down. Every single server and bartender and greeter needs to learn this information like they have to teach it. Like they have to teach it. Learn about those barbecue pork ribs like you have to bring it up in pre-shift tomorrow. Learn how to answer that phone like you have to do it tomorrow. Learn in a question form, which makes them actually have to use their critical thinking. If they are in pre-shifts and all you do is talk about the specials and talk about what we're 86 and they're like, go on their way, they're not listening to you. Every pre-shift needs to be interactive.
Yeah.
What are you going to work on today? What are you going to work on today? What are you going to work on today? Who went out to eat recently and what did you notice? Let's ask that right now. Dwayne or Nathan, David, Michelle, when was the last time you went out to eat and what is 2 things you noticed? Not your restaurant.
Today.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. I'll speak later.
Oh, I was just gonna say in my role, we recently had a franchise conference, and the owner actually had somebody come in and do sushi and also have
Nice.
a hibachi chef. And even the hibachi chef was being interactive with all of us. They were making sure, not saying, would you like, but even just being, okay, here's some great chicken, like it's got this flavor profile to it. The sushi chef, she was talking about the sashimi that she was preparing. They were just very interactive with everybody. So as a training manager, I appreciate that because like you
Yeah.
said, it's all about interactivity and creating relationships with our guests versus being order takers.
Love that. And order takers, you know what they say? Should I get the salmon or the trout? I don't eat fish. That's what they say. Or should I get the cheeseburger or the crispy chicken sandwich? Oh my God, by far cheeseburger. Implying the crispy chicken sandwich sucks. But I will say, Michelle, it's because their knowledge isn't good. It's not because they understand. They just actually can't describe the food. What about you, David? What did you notice?
So today I went out to eat some burgers, and the same like they here in Ecuador usually what they sell is when you ask them what do you recommend, it's usually the typical what they say is this one is the one they everybody usually orders. It's
Popular.
never like this one's fantastic. I love this thing.
Yeah,
And I try to impose that as an owner, but
it's
in
hard.
my restaurant, it's really hard for my employees to actually transmit that to our customers. Some do, and my dad does it because we're owners, but it's very
But
complicated. And this is a recurrent thing in Ecuadorian service.
I
Yeah.
challenge you, start tomorrow on your next shift. Play the should I get this or this game. Just play that game with them. Should I get this or this? And see, and I promise you, in 1 or 2 or 3 weeks, they will be able to describe it to you because you're constantly, gently pressuring them to make their knowledge
And
better.
and Jess, can I ask you what do you say? Because the what do you recommend is really common as well, and I think a lot of owners like teach them to just like describe one that they love the most. But what do you say if I asked you and you're my server? Like, what do you recommend for me?
A million things. So first of all, I've been there 26 years. So when they're like, "What's your favorite?" I go, "What year?" Right? So already I'm implying everything's amazing. Second, they sometimes, what's your favorite? I'm like, what day of the week? Are you interested in a sandwich? Are you interested in a salad? Do you want to do fish today? Do you want to do sushi? Do you want to do steak? Already it's a back question. Already I'm making it about them because hospitality is a dialogue, right? Not a monologue. So that's my first step. Now, when they're like, I'm thinking salad. All right, well, this grilled chicken salad is tossed in a honey lime vinaigrette. It has grilled chicken, tortilla strips. If you want to go a little, that's a little sweeter. And then the Thai steak salad, marinated filet mignon. It has avocado, mango, mint, tossed in a spicy Thai dressing with peanuts. You can't go wrong, really. It is, but I'm factually describing it and they're picturing it. When I say 2 scoop hot fudge sundae with a boat of hot fudge, whipped cream, and candied pecans, they're drooling. Not, did you save room for dessert? Lorraine, did you save room? You ate a lot, Lorraine. You save room for dessert? You sure, Corinne? You save any room in that small little stomach? Did you save room for dessert is a big part of our program, which is diner verbiage, which I like diners, by the way, but what is polished, elevated verbiage versus not? Awesome. I can teach forever, so I really want to go over a couple more things. I want to talk about defending the brand and defending the food. I want to start defending your menu like it should be. If you went to my restaurant and you said, and the guest goes, "I'll have the trout," and the server goes, "Is coleslaw okay with that?" The owner would say, "Why wouldn't it be?" And I want you to understand what defending the brand means. If it means buying into where you work. And many chain restaurants throw their company, throw corporate, throw their boss under the bus to what? Bond with them. Just to let you know, we undercook our steaks. Just to let you know, that has mayonnaise on it. By the way, no one really likes that. Are you sure? That's huge. They are trying to, but by commiserating with that guest, they are throwing their own company under the bus. And one girl at my secret shopped, she said no to 9 things. No, don't get that one. 9 times. So defending the brand and moving forward, I want to cut 2 phrases just to let you know And unfortunately, it's not unfortunate that you don't have it. We just don't have it, but let's try this instead. And just to let you know, is a diner phrase that they put right in before it, and it means I don't want to have to tell you this, but I have to. Just to let you know, we don't have blenders. No, we don't have blenders because they're loud. Just be proud that you don't have blenders. Buy into it. So defending the brand is a really, really big thing. And next, really slightly, you guys need to be secret shopping more. You know, if any of you guys are in LA, have me go. My secret shop is pages and pages of things that owners had no idea was happening. So just really try to get your aunt or your uncle. It doesn't have to pay for a company, but I need you to be, you don't know what they're saying at their tables.
Yeah.
You know, me and Brian went out recently and the ginger ale took 8 minutes. I'm sorry, 30 minutes. The guy also said, sorry, I took so long. The guy called in sick.
No.
You know, like really, really some crazy stuff that's happening. And that bill was $350. Awesome. I'm going to really, I'll stop. I can go on and on and on.
You want to talk about pre-shifts a little bit more and
okay,
just
let's
talk
hear
about
from
like
one
the structure of them and how you would interact.
Okay,
and maybe
let's
a little
ask. I want to hear
slower so they
from
can
one
take notes.
person. I want to hear from one of you guys and how your pre-ships are going.
Yeah,
No
let's hear from
answers.
somebody.
Wait, really quick. I'm coming in hot, guys. Sorry. This is a 4 for me as well. But this is how,
4.
if you do join my program, this is what we do. David, feature me. Michelle, what are your well liquors? Alex, look up. There we go. He looked up. Like, well, this is Alex is one of my restaurant owners. That is. Thank you for being here, Alex. You know, this is in all interactive. You do not learn by watching. You learn by doing. And so this is how interactive these Zooms are. It's Nathan. I want you to wait on Lorraine. Lorraine, you just sat down. Greet her. It is just. I am the bizarre world of Will Guidara. I think Will Guidara has these great things, and I love that he ran across the street and put a quarter in someone's, machine, the car machine. I love that.
Yeah.
But they don't know the 5 hot teas, bro. They can't name the 5 hot teas. So we have to start at the basics. So pre-shifts, let me hear from someone and what you're doing in your pre-shifts and what you're trying to work on. And are you even having them? Because a lot of people don't have them.
We don't have them in our restaurant.
Okay. Have you ever?
No, I mean, we tend to have sometimes like a meeting at 5 p.m. Well, we're a family business, so my mom usually talks to them, etc. But it's really hard here to have those because I don't know. You can tell me more, but it's a matter of I think it's the matter of intelligence that there's a big breach of education between servers or people that work in restaurants with the rest of the industry or the rest of the jobs in the
Where are
country.
you in Ecuador?
Yeah, so it's not very common to have servers or waiters that are that are educated because they're too expensive. So it's really hard for that.
I didn't go to college. I wasn't born with, a waiter gene. It's just practice. It's going to the gym, David. It is over and repetition. And they have to, and sooner or later, you are going to have to decide how much you want to invest in them to get their knowledge better. Anyone else? Brandon's winking that I'm taking up too much time. Anyone else tell me about the pre-shifts?
No, I wasn't.
Pre-shifts. Go ahead, sir. Yeah, go ahead with the hat on.
Okay. Hi, I'm from Aruba. So basically, Aruba is 90% tourists.
Yeah.
And we live because of the tourists. Sorry, my English. We talk like four languages. So this is not my native language.
Don't be sorry.
So for me, actually, it's really important. We do have pre-shift meeting all the time.
Nice.
And what I do as a manager, I try to motivate every single day. Like, for example, what you were saying before, try to use the word, like, unfortunately, we do not have that, but to give them an options.
Good.
I try to teach him every day. The thing
Nice.
about this island is we don't have like kind of professionals who can work in this F&B area. So basically in our restaurant, we are one of the top 10 best restaurants of the island. And still we have a really, really young crowd. They are hard workers. They work, they don't play around. But of course, all the time they need some coaching and learning because they're kids. They're kids between 20 and 29, 20 and 30. So they're young, they're energetic, but they're kids that they really want to work. And they know already that this this whole audience about service and hospitality. What I do, what I do teach them in every pre-shift meeting, it's the difference between the service and the hospitality. Service is just bringing something from point A to B, and hospitality is giving them a little bit more. Let the people, when they get to their hotels, when they get there, remember us, even if it's because of the food, even if it's because of the ambient of the restaurant, or best about those three, because of the service that they have that night.
Right.
So
And
that's an important part. Sorry, that's an important part
Yeah,
for me in the pre-shift meeting that I always,
well said.
besides the 86, besides what we have special,
Right.
besides what we do not have, etc.
great. And I want to tell you that I would love you to start talking to them about the service that creates hospitality. So when you talk about speed, accuracy, efficiency, awareness, and knowledge, they will start seeing that they didn't have napkins. They will start back making sure they were not making ringing errors. We have to start talking about what immaculate service is. When you master service, they feel hospitality. It is a bridge to hospitality.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how nice you are if you forgot my Sprite 3 times.
Totally true.
Yeah, like the act of service makes people feel as well. So there is like I know a lot of Instagram videos will tell you the service is one thing, hospitality is another, but really they intertwine the entire time. So don't like I don't know, sometimes owners or servers overthink that and just think like let me make them feel special while also like no, it's like they're one and the same a lot of the times. Common question we get with pre-shifts, what do you do with staggered in times? The quick answer to that is first and foremost, you could be sending a text beforehand, before your shift, with a lot of the details, like how to the special tonight, and even the description that you want them to follow for that. And when they're describing food, by the way, it should be 8 to 12 words, facts, and not feelings. Meaning, 12 ounces comes with mashed potatoes and asparagus, not it's frizzled over this, seared like this, and really a popular dish. Like that is not how to describe something. You have to tell them exactly what they're getting, and they're a lot more likely to buy. It also makes the server's lives a lot easier when they're describing it. But you could send that text beforehand. Then you could have a big pre-shift at your ideal time. And then with the staggered in time people, the manager or whoever your leader is or yourself has a 1 to 2 minute side pre-shift with that person. And that is more than sufficient. Just do a little bit of role play. So a lot of our pre-shifts are very interactive. So we're making them describe something really quickly, or Jess will ask like, tell us about the last time you went out to eat. So we'll just ask them some questions. Maybe the newer server will pull them aside afterwards or before and help them a little bit more. Maybe they've been here a couple months and we're just making sure they're still dialed in. So go
And
ahead, Jess.
let's say we just taught them what unobtrusive service is versus obtrusive service. We just taught them that, right? And then for the week, I need them to tell me examples of unobtrusive service that they've seen. We
Yeah.
teach them something and then we ask them something. So Alex, you're working with your staff right now. What are your biggest takeaways from the restaurant launch? Not bragging or stuff, but just more things that have really gotten into your brain as an owner.
I think the biggest thing is just the table awareness and the manicuring of the tables. I had the biggest issue for my servers is they'd be taking orders and then just leaving the menus on the table like they were placemats. And it just shows you kind of like they're not paying attention to the table. So your program has helped us like handle those little details of even like things on the floor and
Or awareness, God.
yeah, walking in front of a guest because we got to get to that table and and the guest has to like wait for us and that those little details matter. And as owners, like we're not always thinking about every little step. But when you do your program, you kind of open our eyes to uh of what is out there, what needs to be out there and what needs to be recognized. And then we as managers can reinforce and watch those little things
Yeah.
and every day focus on something different.
I'll Venmo you. Now, I'm going to say something really quick. I also, and I hope you understand this, Alex, and I hope you agree, I'm giving definitions to things that some people were kind of doing or not doing. When you say guest right of way and they know, oh, that's 6 feet away, we stop, smile, and let them pass. Now I'm giving a definition into something rather than stop running into people. What we're doing normally is stop running into people and they feel attacked. But I'm giving verbiage and a definition to a style of service that they make it more about the program and the restaurant launch or just Roland rather than they're terrible people. The reason why people aren't listening to us a lot of times is they feel like you're attacking them, but we're not. We are only attacking our brand and what we do.
Mhm.
I used to train so many peoples from the Applebee's and the the Rainforest cafes and the Red Robins and the Cheesecake Factories, and they had a hard time at my restaurant because they felt like I was attacking that those places were wrong. Those places are never wrong, but it's not what we do. So we as owners have to figure out what we do and what we don't do. Heard.
For our staff meetings, we on every day we do food tasting every day.
Great, love that. And are they
Because, like you
describing
said
it?
before, in regards to describing a dish,
Good.
if you can close your eyes and you know the difference between a peppercorn sauce and a béarnaise sauce,
Love
and
it.
you can taste it. Now you're at that table, people believe you. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This béarnaise sauce is better than reduction sauce. This is it,
I love that.
So
And
we
that's
do that
something.
on a daily basis. And then again, we bring the dish out. We have someone describe the dish
Great.
and see if his description matches the taste of the dish.
Love that.
So everybody's interactive within the dish and they're seeing, hey, I shouldn't say that, or I should say that exactly, because it's psychosomatic. If you're not looking for it, if you're not looking for lemons, if someone doesn't tell you you look for lemons, you're not going to taste lemon.
Yeah.
Love that.
So it really helps for me. It helps my servers guide my clients or my guests.
Good.
We should be telling them what to eat
Yeah. Have you heard of
more
Low?
often than not, especially like, hey, you should have this for the table. Unbelievable. This bacon that we had, blah, blah, blah. It's unbelievable table. You guys should have. Oh, okay. Most people just want to be taken care of, right? So
Yes, I will say that takes confidence, Peter. And if you have
100%.
because you can do that once with a green server and they'll get yelled at and never do it again.
That's true.
So we do have to
Very
teach them confidence. And lastly, you were mentioning showing low and slow is I'm sure you've heard of it, where you're walking by other tables with desserts and stuff, so they see it. It's a nice,
yeah.
it's a really big
The
sales
procession.
Yeah, it's great too. I love that, Peter. Thanks for sharing. Brandon, I know I went over.
Before we move on, Jess, somebody put their pre-shift. I think Terry has actually had a call with us yesterday, the day before. He put his pre-shift in there. You want to take a look real quick and let us know what you think. Is it too long, do you think? Should we like shorten it and focus on
I don't see anything.
in
It's
the
in
chat?
the chat.
In the Zoom chat. You want me to text it to you?
How long should a pre-ship be?
45 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. Everyone is different, man. I'll be honest. On Saturdays and Sundays, there's a line at the door. I only have 7 minutes. Sometimes I have 4. Sometimes I have 12. I don't think it should be more than 15. But I do think we have to make every single person talk. So, Peter, I hope that only the all-stars aren't describing the food. I want the newer server. I want the green server. I would focus on every single person has to talk in this pre-shift. And I want to get the house cleaning fast. The house cleaning part is what are 86 and blah, 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 all that technical stuff. And then I want to get it into what are you going to work on today? What are we going to work on today? And start bringing up these little things that you're noticing that you want them to work on. So did you text it?
I have one more question about that. Usually it's 15 minutes, but I remember that I read this Unreasonable Hospitality book, which is fantastic. And he talks about it. You only didn't talk about just like the food or the restaurant itself, but you end up talking about that you should talk about more personal stuff. Is that correct, or that
listen,
kind of takes that authority out of you?
I'm the biggest fan of Will Guidara, and I'm the complete opposite of him in the sense of he is not a server. I live and breathe as a server for 30 years. And it's just some of the stuff isn't realistic. We are an hour and a half wait. We have to get out there. There's staggered in times. Someone called in sick. I would love to do that, David, but let's start with what's most important, which is their food knowledge. It's the number and their liquor knowledge. So I would start with hearing what they're saying at the tables and hearing their warmth, David. If you say, "What? Yeah, welcome in. We have steak frites today, and served with fries." Do it again. Have some energy. Steak frites. It's 11 ounces, simply grilled. It's a little marbly, and then it comes with your choice of French fries, coleslaw. That's what I'm looking for. That's the energy we're looking for
Yeah.
at the table. So that's what you have to be coaching on as well.
You don't know it, you can't sell it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's get into it. I got some stuff to get into.
Right.
Quick tip, Terry, just like sometimes we have to focus. I didn't read your pre-shift thing yet. We'll go over it at the end maybe and analyze that a little bit more in detail. But a lot of the times we have to take a restaurant and focus on what matters instead of too much. So Jess always says, instead of too much sloppy, do more. What's your saying, Jess?
Yeah, nice try. I mean, if I end up dead somewhere, it's gonna be branded with my. He just steals all my stuff in a good way. I would rather they do less perfectly than too much sloppy.
Right.
And I do think we're throwing the book at these people, and they're 21 years old. Let's focus on the basics and branch out, and then get to the stuff that Peter is getting to, the
Right.
peppercorn and where the peppercorn was grown. These
Yes.
people know the difference between a Merlot and a Bordeaux, and they don't know what our sodas are. Like, so that I think training has been coming skewed. And I think it's really has to be on what are the guests asking 100 times a week? Write that down. What are the guests asking 100 times a week? That is what we should be training. Heard.
Agreed. Okay, awesome, guys. Let's get
One-
into like how this great experience.
Amanda, wait, do you
Oh,
want
that
to
was
say something,
Amanda. Sorry, Amanda.
Terry, I was a server for 20 years. I love everything on your pre-shift. I think you could pick 5 or 6 things and drill down. I would walk away from that pre-shift not remembering most of that because it is so much information, but it's all really good information. So I would pick
5 per day.
Yep, to my mind, that's about a month's worth of pre-shift, and it's all awesome. But to me as a server, it'd be too much.
And
Mhm.
Amanda,
Remember.
Amanda is is my executive assistant. She's on every single Zoom with me. She is she runs my life. What are some things that you're noticing from a bird's eye point of view, Amanda, that I don't see because I'm crazy?
Yeah, I'll go fast, Brandon. 2 things.
You're
One,
good.
for servers, I think my favorite thing to see is them realizing that there is an Olympic ninja level to this, that a lot of servers think of this as like their meantime, wait till their life starts job, and not realize you can really do this at a level of excellence where you make a stupid amount of money. Jess is also really intense right now, but he's also really fun, and he makes the process of this feel like doable and cool. And then for managers, the thing I love to see is, especially when people take advantage of the one-on-one coaching, is Jess is able to get really granular with people. There was a manager that was promoted from head server to a management position, and she had a very specific problem of she was friends with her servers, and now she's in a leadership position. And how do you bridge that gap? So I love that he can get really specific with coaching. Go
Love
ahead.
that. That was great.
Thanks, guys. All right, let's get into it. So how does this great experience that we always talk about actually make you money? 4 ways that I always mention to every owner. They have a great experience. Obviously, they're going to spend a little bit more, so increased in your per person average or your sale per guest or your average ticket. Not only by upselling, just more so by giving such a good experience that they just naturally spend more. Keep in mind, like just from a pre-bus table, they spend more. Okay. Word of mouth traffic and customer retention rate, they go hand in hand a lot of the times where you give such a great experience. That guest that had a great experience, they come back next week or next month or every single week, every single month. And they also are the ones telling 15 to 16 friends or family members that they have to try this restaurant. Okay. It's the most powerful form of marketing because you're actually going to listen to your friend and go try that restaurant, whereas you see an ad and you might not. Okay. Turning tables, we focus on efficiencies and unobtrusive service in order to turn tables. Okay. Meaning we're not pushing the guest out the door, but we are 5 steps ahead of them. And then we're also not interrupting them every step of the way. Okay. So let's get into it, guys. I'd love to reveal the brand new executive coaching program to all of you. So if you made it this far, let's get into it. So for the past year, maybe 6 months to a year-ish, Jess and I have been noticing, and Amanda and the entire team have been noticing that our training is maybe a little bit too focused on just the front of the house staff. And really what makes a huge difference is when your managers actually turn into leaders and keep this training going for years and years and years. And we've always had a big section of the program, like taking managers into leaders, but now it's just more. It's almost like a 50-50 mix of managers versus front of the house staff, which is obviously amazing. So what we do? We created a course. We broke it down into 8 easy to obtain sections, made all the videos about 2 to 3 minutes long, again, for the managers. And this is the
A little
managerial
longer
school
than that.
group. Some are a little bit longer. This is the managerial school group. So you'll see you have the classroom setting where you could go in and watch the videos. Okay. You also have the community, which you saw in the beginning, which will have people just asking questions and answering questions. So you might have similar questions to other people. You could go through all the coursework at your own pace. And then you're also going to have the coolest part, I would say. You click on the calendar button. And when you go to the calendar, you get unlimited Zoom calls with Jess Rowland and myself or anybody from our team that's going to be on the calendar moving forward, at any time that's on the calendar. So basically, your managers will have access to this. So you're getting one location included in this. If you want more, obviously, you could do it again. But one location included for all your management staff and all your leader staff in this, and they could go to all these Zoom calls for an entire year. So 1 year access to this, and they also get the entire coursework. Okay. Now, additionally, it is a bit confusing sometimes to just like be thrown into a course. So I don't want to do that to you guys. I want to onboard you guys myself and teach you exactly how, not only you on this call, but bring your managers and I'll onboard your managers as well. Teach them exactly how to go through this program to make the most of it. Okay, so you're going through the entire course. And then I'll tell them how to implement it and actually teach these things to the staff, so on and so forth. And then also schedule your Zoom call with Jess Rowland. So for the first time ever, we're offering a chance for you guys to get a Zoom call with Jess Rowland and your entire front of the house staff. Okay. And when I say first time ever, I mean like on a masterclass. We haven't offered that yet. So this is an opportunity for your entire staff and keep them at home for this, by the way. So you have this Zoom call, they're all at home. So you don't have to invite them into the restaurant. We have them put their cameras on so we know they're there. And Jess will inspire them, coach them, interact with them. That's why I told you guys to pay attention during the coaching part, because Jess will actually be asking your servers questions in real time, coaching them more than he did with you and more than we interacted today. Actually, we don't interact nearly as much on these master classes as we do on your front of the house Zoom calls. Using your menu and on my onboarding call, I'll grab some of your details from your restaurant, send them to Amanda, have Amanda make sure she knows exactly about your restaurant. So on this Zoom call, we could tailor it specifically to you. Okay. Now, also, I really wanted to make this like instead of giving you a ton of little things, I wanted to give you 3 of the biggest things that a restaurant could really need at this point. So the first one is that coaching stuff with the managers. The second one is the P&L and menu audit with Quinn. Okay, so we have Quinn, who's a absolute guru. He went to the top hospitality school in Europe, and he's going to get on with you and give you basically a free trial of teaching you how to increase your profit margins. Okay, so he's helped people increase by over 20%, which is unheard of and crazy. Obviously, if you have your numbers in order, it might only be 5%, 10%, who knows exactly. But even a 5% increase, guys, is so big and so important to you. And I'll have him, Quinn, at the end, he's in here. I'll have him jump in and answer some questions if you got questions about Quinn and his process with this. But just keep in mind, he's going to give you enough information and help where it's going to make a big difference. And then you also will get the chance to keep working with him long term. Okay. Same with Jess as well. Last of the 3-headed snake, we'll call it, Dishio marketing. So this is done for you advertising, meaning you don't have to like come to this and know exactly how to advertise, know exactly how to put a pixel in or all those confusing things. My brother Mike will literally take you through every step of the process. Now, Dishio, I don't know if anybody's heard of Dishio, but they are a sister or a daughter company of Dineline, which is one of the biggest restaurant marketing agencies. So we partnered with Dishio to be able to run your ads for you with their software. Okay. So this is retargeting advertising. What does that mean? That means you go on your phone tonight or your laptop and you shop for shoes and you click on this specific shoe. Later that night, let's say you didn't buy it, you're going to see an ad for those specific shoes that you clicked on. Okay. If you did buy it, you probably wouldn't see the ad because Nike is smart enough to know not to show an ad to somebody who already bought because they're not going to buy the same shoes again. Okay, so they have all that data and that tracking in place. Restaurants never have all that data and tracking in place because it's really hard to obtain. So we're making it actually obtainable for you. So we get that data and then we could retarget your guests. Okay, so what that means is they click your link on your Instagram bio, or they go to the link on your Google page and go to your menu. Or we put a little QR code in your restaurant with your secret menu or your drink menu or whatever you want to put. You get scanned. Every time they scan or every time they click, we get their information automatically. They do not even have to enter their information in, okay? Which is really important, obviously. With that information, we'll know exactly which buttons they click, and then we'll know exactly which ads to show them or which emails to send them, okay? You'll get unlimited access to our team with this, and the typical cost for something like this, the startup fee would be $2,500, and then the monthly rate would be $500 a month. Okay. Now, I'm going to go over everything you're getting and piece it all together. So, you're going to get the school program. I'm going to give you 1 year access for one location, one of your restaurants, all of the managers. And I'll even give you a chance. You can include like 1 or 2 lead servers or lead bartenders. If those are considered your managers as well, that is more than fine. You're going to get that onboarding call with me. You're going to get a Zoom call, once in a lifetime opportunity, a Zoom call with Jess Rowland and your full staff. You're also going to get the menu P&L and menu audit with Quinn. And then you're going to get the Dishio marketing software. You're going to get the startup fee, $2,500, and you're going to get the first month included in this. Okay. Thereafter, it'll be $500 a month. So the total value of this, everything you're getting, would be $19,300. And today only on this masterclass, we would offer it to you for $2,400. Okay. So at this time, Amanda, if you could share that link, that would be great.
It's in there.
We're going to put a link in the chat. Thank you, Amanda. And you could also scan this QR code and check out. Now you could use Afterpay or Klarna as well and break up these payments really easily. I promise you when I say this is a once in a lifetime opportunity because the school program actually just launched this past week. And that's why I'm offering it at such a low rate, is to obviously fill it and give you guys a chance to get in early. One of the pros, and you'll know tomorrow, Jess, one of the pros of getting in early is these Zoom calls won't be packed with people as well. So when you join a Zoom call with Jess Rowland, it will be an intimate setting as well. So your managers have access to that. They join these Zoom calls and they could still ask Jess questions, even though it's a group Zoom call, okay, with other restaurants, okay? Now throw your questions in the chat. I'll start reading through them as well, and Jess can answer some questions as well. And then Quinn, whenever you're ready, hop in and talk about your P&L stuff and what you help with. And
yeah, then I'll pass it over to Quinn. Just you do not learn by watching, you learn by doing. And the more the best Zooms I've ever had were the ones that were where I was literally helping their exact problem. You know, yes, I'm going to teach them so many things, but really specific, there is not one question or not one thing that someone has brought up that I haven't seen in my 30 years. I did work for $1 billion restaurant group, so we were selling 1.8 million a month. You know, my sales alone were 25 million. You know, and this, so I've seen thousands and thousands and thousands of guests and thousands of PR comps and thousands of guest issues and thousands of attitudes and thousands of, you know, unprofessional versus professional stuff. So I don't know what the rule of 10,000 hours is. I think you're a master, but I've been doing this 45,000 hours. So I love these Zooms, and they're so fun and they're so interactive, and people really, really get a lot out of it. And I'm going to be really honest. I'm not really making money on this deal at Brandon. So let's really take advantage of this. And sorry to be so sort of transparent, but this deal will not be happening next year. There's no way.
Next year, it won't be happening tomorrow.
Heard. But
Somebody asked, how does this program differ than like the one we offer when we're on like our typical program that we offer if you sign up for our stuff? This program, that program you would get more Zoom calls and you would get a client success manager and Amanda like guiding you through every step of the way. And of course, the cost would be more with that, but you will have the option to remove this, what you spend today, you'll have the option to remove that from the cost of upgrading to the premium program. Okay, so you have the option upgrade to the premium program with all those additional add-ons and the client success manager for 12 weeks, so on and so forth, more Zooms with Jess, and we'll take off the 25,400 that you spend today. So good question. This price will only be available today. Yeah. Yeah, set time for using this is 1 year. So all of your leaders, managers, from one location will get access to the school for 1 year.
I mean, technically that's 52 Zooms with me, which normally we would charge
A lot.
you
Don't
don't want to know how much that would be.
But yeah, it will probably be a lot more than 52 Zooms, by the way, just because by like January, February, we're gonna have a pretty full school group, so we'll have to be
Sure.
adding more and more people into, or more and more Zoom calls on the calendar. We'll probably have one every single day of the week, multiple
Great.
times. iPhone question, did I get this deal? If you scan that and put in your card information and all that, then yes, you did get this deal.
Let's hear from
Also,
Quinn.
next step after buying, guys, it will take you to the screen to just simply book your Zoom call with me. Please do so. Like, I don't want to hunt you down to have to book your Zoom call with me. Book the Zoom call and me and you will meet at that time. Invite your managers to that time. And I'll text you in the meantime beforehand to make sure that that time works and all that fun stuff. Who's talking? Oh. I'll make sure that time works and we could always reschedule. But once that's booked, you're in the system, okay? So this deal is only for now because I have the owner calling me to ask how to do it. Yeah, Amanda, you have that link. Can you? Oh, I got it. I'm gonna copy the link for you.
It's in there.
There we go. Amanda sent the link. Just copy that link and send it to the owner and he or she could check out. Quinn, you want to jump in and tell them about your P&L stuff when you're ready?
For sure. I would love to. And I think you did a great, job emphasizing really the value you get. And, for all of us restaurant managers and owners on there, it's not just a one-stop shop for training. You also get that analytical perspective from the P&L and menu audit. So as you guys know, right, running a restaurant, it's harder than ever right now. There's rising costs, whether it's food, labor, energy, if you have a pretty good to-go revenue, packaging, right? So there's thin margins out there. It's really hard to profit due to multiple factors. Another thing we're seeing too is that the POS is giving you clear data, but it's not giving you clear insights, right? And you don't have time, or your managers don't have time to dig through those spreadsheets. And it's hard to see which dishes are really driving profit and which are really moving the needles, right? So what we do and what we're offering, right, is a full P&L audit for your restaurant. So it's analytics built for restaurants, not just accountants. And the reports that connect menu, staff, finance, and your customers or guest data all into one, right? So it's really important you get the clear picture as a restaurant owner or manager. And this is the best part, right? So we're all about training here. So you don't just get a report like a normal consultancy company would do and say, hey, have fun. Here's your 30-page report, go run and muck. What we do is we give you clear next steps and training on what to promote, what to cut, or to improve, not just within the number side of things, but also for your staff. So what can my staff start to do? And, a good example of that, and I'll just briefly give an example here. Let's say we're talking about menu engineering and performance, right? Let's say you don't know your puzzle dishes or your dishes which are extremely popular or profitable, but not so popular. What are you then going to do? We'll create training for your staff so they can properly push those dishes and sell those dishes. So they're optimizing your guys' margins at the end of the day, right? So we can do a whole lot for you there in the analytics and report side of things. We would love to help you out there. So, take full advantage of this, guys. I really would. You don't just get really kick-ass training for your team, but you get that deep, deep analytical insight. Thanks, Brandon.
Of course. Thank you, Quinn. That was great. Let's go. Okay, awesome. Put some more questions in the chat.
Yeah, I'd love to answer some questions too, as far as
They could be service related.
yeah, service, leadership. There's nothing I haven't seen. Throw it at me. Um, is your restaurant doing unobtrusive service versus obtrusive service? How many times is your servers interrupting people? How long is table turn sitting? I'm the king of turning my tables. I'm turning $300 tables in 60 minutes and they never feel rushed because of
Yeah.
my speed, my accuracy, and my efficiency. That alone is just the sales are insane by teaching them to have the awareness of not interrupting 100 times. And unobtrusive service is the way to do that. I'd love you to challenge and look inward and to go to your restaurant and see how obtrusive are these servers? How much are they making it about them? How often are they mirroring? Mirroring means I'm not the same Jess at every table. This table wants me to be fun, Jess. This table wants me to pull back because they're on a double date. This table's a little older, so I'm going to slow down. This table's all kids, so I'm going to be Uncle Jess. I never sound the same at every table, and that's called mirroring. And I want to teach them that and really feeling out what are we interested in and noticing, is it an anniversary? How can I make these people leave saying, wow? So please ask me any questions possible.
Love it. For those who have signed up already, just make sure you book that time with me on Zoom. And then also, if anything goes wrong, meaning if you didn't get a chance to book that meeting with me and you didn't click the link right away, you could always email me at brandon@therestaurantlaunch.com and I'll help you myself, of course.
Bye,
But I'll
Michelle.
know.
Michelle, call me. Have another call.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle. Peace out. Who else signed up? Who wants to can't really call myself a goat. Someone else has to, but who wants to ask the someone goat a
The
question?
goat.
Training goat.
Greatest of all time.
Who has we can unmute too. It doesn't have to be on doesn't have to be on chat if you want to unmute and ask me a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's funny that you said about the mirroring and the time of turning tables. Here on the island, we have a lot of culture. So we have Dutch culture, which is from the Netherlands. We have the USA culture, which is mostly 70% of our clients in our island. And we have the locals, and we have also the Latin that comes to our island. Our island is a very, very how you say that, vacational island. So
Yeah.
we live from the tourism. So in our position, it's a little bit difficult because, like, for example, the European and the Dutch people, they like to get things really, really slow. So the turning tables for them is a little bit like more time. It's not like 2 hours for a table of four. Like, for example, it's not a 3 hour and a half to turn that table. They might stay in a restaurant maybe for 5 hours, easily like that, little by little step. Now, when we have the guests from the USA, some of them we have 50-50. Some of them they like to be turning tables like so fast because they want like a fast service. Even though you engage a lot with them, they want a fast service. Just eat, stay, and talk and have a fast service. And some of them they like to have like a slow service. So you have to do a lot of mirroring, like what you were saying. But there's a lot going on here in the culture. The local, he likes to stay the whole night. He can book you a table 5 o'clock when you open the restaurant, and he can leave like 11 o'clock when you close the kitchen. So easily as that. So
Wow.
you have to be very careful here. So we have a lot of culture that we have to deal with. So for us, a little bit difficult, even though we do mostly, I'm not gonna say 100% perfect, but I'm gonna say like maybe 85% perfect, which each table is still gonna be having some somebody complains in the end, because if you give somebody a little bit of attention, they're gonna complain over here. So we here in the island, we have a lot of those issues going on back and forth,
Yeah,
back and
it's
forth.
not, those aren't issues, sir. Those are things that are happening. And if every single server can describe it the way you did, then they will be a different server for everyone. I'm fine. My tables sit 4 hours. I've had tables that sit 5 hours, but never on because of me, because they want to. So do you see the difference? I'm okay with, but I never want there. I'm going to restaurants and they haven't dropped check for 20 minutes and I'm done. I'm going to restaurants and it took, it took me 11 minutes to get a box. I went to restaurants where it took 15 minutes to get a glass of wine. So if you are dotting your I's and crossing your T's and you are focusing on speed, accuracy, and efficiency, and it's all on them, I'm fine with that. But are they? You have to see your part in this. It can't be just the clientele. How much is your servers a part of them sitting 5 hours? If they have an order for 3 hours, that's the server's fault. There's ways of getting people to order and also I will be honest. At what point do you let someone sit for 5 hours? This isn't Starbucks. That's my opinion, though. I would kick people out after 4 hours, but that's me as a business person. Heard. Next.
What's the name of your restaurant in Aruba?
Azar Firewood Grill.
Say that
Azar,
one more
like
time.
Azar. Azar.
Is Aruba. Okay. I'm gonna look
Really
it up.
quick, also, I'm greeting that table. I am featuring that table. I come back in 2 to 3 minutes. Take your time. Take, a couple more minutes. I am still circulating through that tape section with some foot speed and energy. My energy makes people order, not because I asked them to. But if you abandon that table, if you said, oh, I have a bunch of Danish people, they're never going to order it, and they go in the back on Instagram, of course they won't order. So we have to train these servers to have more confidence at their table and just believe that they're going to order. I think a lot of servers' life is happening to them instead of for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they're very much victims. At my
Jessica-
restaurant, the same, one second. At my restaurant, the same 4 people are complaining about every single table. And I just don't get those guests. It's because they are looking at life through their own lens and not perspective wise.
Yeah.
I mean, that's because I'm 90 years old and I had a lot of therapy, but I want to teach that to people. Go ahead, Quinn.
Yeah, and I want to say, Guilford, you mentioned, having the Dutch clientele. I actually am based in the Netherlands now for the past 6 years, and I totally understand what you're saying about that. They really like to take their time, and enjoy the moments, or more or less, right? Stay for 5 or 6 hours, but Jess made a great point. It's about that confidence, right? And how you steer them. How are you delivering their experience, right? You are the waiter, you are the server, you're serving them, you're tailoring their experience. And that's a great way to look at it.
Yes. A couple questions to answer. One was about timing per week. How much free time do you need to get the most out of this? Technically speaking, only 15 minutes, 20 minutes a week. But to get the absolute most out of this, I'd say 30 to 60 minutes a week. Technically speaking, you could spend 2 to 3 hours a week per manager and hop on all the Zoom calls, go through coursework, up on everything. And somebody asked to just go over the program a little bit again. So let me go back a couple slides real quick, and I'll do so. Just give me a second. Um, so with the school program, you're getting a few things included in it. One of which is just the community features, which is literally just your ability to be able to throw questions in the chat anytime and read what other people are asking at any time. One of the two biggest parts of this will be the coursework. So the core things that Jess teaches about leadership, about managerial systems, you see pre-shifts, operational excellence, so many different topics in here that all break into different videos, all of which that are short and sweet for you. There's so much coursework that even if I was just selling the coursework, it would be worth it, but you're also getting the calls on the calendar with us. So you'll be able to you click this button, what I'm hovering over now, and it will let you add the Zoom call to your calendar, whatever calendar you use. And then you simply show up at that time and we'll be presenting a class, but we'll also be answering questions. So a lot of the times owners or managers are coming with questions about their specific restaurant, and Jess in real time is coaching them on their exact situation and going one by one. Okay, so good question. I'll skip to the end again if anybody else needs the QR code still. And I got a couple more comments. Let's see. Jess, do you also help with training managers about the negative mindset that they have? Do
Of
you want to touch
course,
on that?
it's a core value of mine, which is positive mental attitude. It's one of it is the bottom line is a core value that most restaurants should have. I think teamwork is another one as well. I'll get to positive mental attitude, but teamwork, most restaurants say they have teamwork. I want to make you known for teamwork. There is a difference between having teamwork and being known for teamwork. Now, as far as positive mental attitude goes, it is talking to them about what does bother them and what are their requests. They're probably bothered with someone that they haven't had a conversation with about because they're expecting these people, they're drinking poison, expecting someone else to die. So positive mental attitude. Now, if their attitude is so negative and they completely see this life like that, whether they're a manager or a server, this might not be right for them. And we have to be okay that I prefer a team over family. I'm sorry to say, these restaurants that are, I love that they're family based, but families gossip, families talk crap, families, you know, I need a team. And sometimes we have to, have these hard conversations with these people that are continuously coming into every shift with a poor attitude. I sit them down and I ask them, how can I help you retain this? This is the fifth time now we've had an incident with this person. How can I guide you or be there for you to make you enjoy this job like you used to, or whatever the conversation is? But we can't scur away from it. We need to be more direct as managers and owners.
Well said. Yeah, a lot of the times family vibes is like no matter what they do, I'm still gonna love them as a family, obviously, for the most part. And that doesn't always work in the restaurant where it's like a championship basketball team, if somebody's not holding their weight and somebody's not getting back on defense, like it's next person up. We're benching you and putting somebody else in. It doesn't have to be that extreme. We just have to focus a little bit more on coaching and holding people accountable a lot of the times. Um, and then I'd also ask you, which Jess doesn't like that I talk about, but sometimes it's a tough conversation. Is like, do you have the ability to hire somebody else and fire this manager or a specific server, and or do you not? Maybe you don't. Maybe you need the bodies and there's nobody that you could find out there. But a lot of times, like, you should be taking more, not full interviews, but just walk-ins, and you ask them a few questions and you see, and you're always taking these applications.
Yeah, I just can't tell you how many restaurants have been pushing it aside and skirting the issue and moving around it. And now the inmates are running the asylum. They are. The servers are running the show and they know they can't get fired because they need them. So it's not about firing and not firing, but it is about holding people accountable and basically having conversations with these people and requesting. On my fifth, if Quinn was working for me and I requested 5 times from Quinn to do something, my voice is going to change. And I'm going to have a serious conversation with him and bring up the 5 times that I have a paper trail of these requests that I've had for you. I also come from a very strict restaurant, and I don't think every restaurant can be this strict, but I think there's something you can take away from sticking to your guns.
Yeah.
This casual thing that I'm seeing is such a slippery slope. This restaurant was so cool, it was so casual, and 5 years later, they're wearing tank tops and fishnets, and like they're not in their section for 9 minutes because they're cool.
Quick question for Jess and Amanda. Somebody's asking, like, of course we have the videos and those things but do we also have physical items? You'd say yes, Amanda?
Yeah, sometimes right after the video, Jess will actually say, there's a doc for this, print it out. But yeah, we do have some like follow along docs.
And
for
Okay, so I'll say upon request. So
yeah,
when you're on the Zooms with us, whatever you need
Oh, right.
documentation wise, you just ask us and we'll make sure to send those over via email for you, whatever you need. You could also like DM us in the school group. So you could DM Amanda or myself and we could get you those documents if you need one for that attaches to a specific video or something like that. That's just like part of the access you're getting in the school community is being able to ask us for things whenever you need, and we're very accommodating because we understand that if one person wants it, usually 100 people are going to want it. So we make it right. Okay.
Yeah. Don't get me started on manuals, though. I absolutely love manuals, but I do think it's putting the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
You have to be able, I'm going to these restaurants and they haven't read that manual in 6 years. They can't name one core value. So we as leaders have to bring life to that manual and discuss them as much as possible. At my restaurant, we know the 3 C's, the 7 home-based responsibilities, the top 5 priorities, and and the top 4 values. We have to say them in every pre-shift for 3 months. Now, am I saying you guys have to do that? Absolutely not. But I will say it bridges the gap between leadership and managers and servers down here. I think they should know that giving 11 lemons is bad for P&L. I think they should know they shouldn't give 17 automatic straws. I think they should know that they don't need to pour 8 ounces of Tabasco, that we're losing about 2 grand of Tabasco a year. Tell these servers that. I remember specifically being told these things about P&L when I was 19 years old, and I never forgot it. So let's be more direct than discreet. Heard? I promise this intensity, guys, is joy and love for this job. And I just believe in it.
100%. Yeah. And I mean, this is what you're getting on the Zoom with Jess, which is so important. And it just inspires everybody and motivates everybody. I honestly have a hard time explaining it to people without them like just being on with Jess and feeling it for themselves, because it's just very inspirational for your staff. So adding that front of the house Zoom call is going to be worth it in its own.
All right. Who else signed up? Anyone else signed up? Who wants
Yeah,
to
we got
get more
quite a
signups?
few.
Let's do
Quite a
some.
few.
Anyone want to unmute and ask me a question? Anyone want to unmute and ask me a question?
Anybody have questions for Jess? They could be service related questions too.
Yeah, they can be anything.
And if you need help with anything, signing up or adding something in or using Klarna or Afterpay.
I also
let me know.
I gotta be honest, as manic as our Instagram is, underneath every single one of those videos is something to learn. Every single one of my videos, yes, I'm being funny, I'm being obnoxious, and it's for the camera. But a lot of that come underneath it all. You really, if you can dissect each one of those 3 minute, 2 minute videos, there's so much information in there. I highly recommend you look at some of those videos too.
Definitely.
Awesome.
All right, waiting for some more questions, standing by. Questions about the program, questions about service, question about training. This is your guys' chance before we leave. Go ahead, Guilford.
Yeah, I have a question. So basically, since we were talking and having this Zoom conversation, the owner just called me and he asked me like, "Hey, listen, we want to do the program." But before I say yes, of course, I want to give them like all the feedback and all the things they just wrote. You give them like an idea what he's going to pay, if he's going to pay it or not. So my question is, does this link or this opportunity has expired date, expired hour? Because if I call him later on, he's not on the island, he's outside. I have to have a conversation with him, and it might take a little bit, to convince him. Maybe I don't have to even convince him at all because he trusts me. But even though I have an expired like hour, expired date, even though if I have the link, even though if I sent them the
Yeah.
link already.
Yeah, it was supposed to expire like when I hit end on this Zoom call. But
Okay.
for you asking me, I don't mind extending it a day or so for you. I'll just make sure I have your email. Can you DM me or throw it in the chat your email and I'll grab
Sure.
it and make sure that or your phone number if you prefer text. I can just text you everything and make sure you get a chance.
Sure, absolutely.
Cool.
Amanda, what other questions do you have? What do you think? What are some current things that you're seeing?
Current things. I think one of the big things that managers and owners worry about is team participation. Are they gonna, if they make the investment, will it move the needle? And I think, seeing your coaching, you kind of get a sense of how it works, but it's really the interaction on the Zooms and getting them to answer these questions and also giving them things that are actionable that they can do in their next shift. It's pretty indisputable. Like, regardless of your attitude, if you do this, it will work.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
like
I even just taught someone the Sullivan nod recently. A Sullivan nod is as I'm taking an order, I'm nodding. It's such a sales technique, and these 19-year-olds have never heard of the Sullivan nod. And they're like, I tried the Sullivan nod, Jess, and I got 3 appetizers on my table. Like, it is really cool seeing younger, people that are agreeing to this business start doing these things that are tried and true, and it actually works.
Yeah.
Planting seeds about starters and bringing up stuff, uh, there's just so many different parts of service that most of these people just don't know that they don't know. And I'm going to say it again, they don't know what they don't know. And that is this program is showing them things that you think they're young or you think they have no work ethic, but really they just weren't trained properly, ideally. And that's not anyone's fault. Yeah.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah, the Sullivan nod, it's actually surprising that some people still don't use that or know it. I feel like it's been out there for a while and been talked about so much, but it's crazy to see what we think we think the servers have this knowledge and it's just like common sense and they should be doing it, but a lot of the times we have to reinforce even the basics of this and teach the basics before we get to the most advanced strategies.
Yeah.
Which is why sometimes if a restaurant's really like failing or just like their service is really, really bad, it's like we can't really help you until you get to, I would say, good. But going from good to great is our specialty.
I want to say something else to all the leaders on this call. I need from the next shift on, I need you to teach new hires, to practice this food, however it is, out loud at home.
Mm-hmm.
Not study like a college student. You need to study like an actor. I'm going to say it again. Study this menu like an actor, not a college student. They are writing down all the ingredients and they can't say one of them to me. They need to practice with their dog or their cat or their boyfriend or their girlfriend or their mirror. They have to have their friend call them and say, and you go, welcome in. I want to describe the grilled crispy chicken sandwich. It's deep fried buttermilk chicken. It has a spicy slaw in it. It has tomato, Swiss cheese. And then what are our side items? Oh, we have French fries. We have coleslaw. We have fresh vegetables. We have baked potato. What are you in the mood for? Also, teach them this upward inflection. Do you hear my voice, how it goes up? Rather than, do you want Coke or Sprite?
Mm-hmm.
You want Coke or Sprite? When your voice goes down, it's not hospitable. When your voice goes up, it's Coke or Sprite. Do you hear that? You can teach them that tomorrow.
One question or just talk about bringing passion into this generation and how you do that. And since there's not a lot of like old school servers anymore.
Because every trainee, every person is different. I speak to them, and I'll write this one down. It's another Jess favorite quote. If they didn't hear me, I didn't say it right.
Mm-hmm.
If they didn't hear me, I didn't say it right. So I do talk to 19-year-olds different, and the shy girl is different than the jokester guy. And I create a world of mirroring in my training as well. But some things are non-negotiable. If they don't know something in the beginning of the shift, I said, that's fine. Take your time. At the end of the shift, you have to feature me the pork chop. I give them small challenges every single shift. You don't know the well liquors? That's all right. You have 6 hours. When you turn your financial in, let me know the well liquors. Heard. I want to coach so much that all they say is heard or got it. And as far as youth goes, youth still likes structure. And what I'm trying to give to you is structure. This is how we train. We are moving into more coaching than training. We are learning in question form, and our pre-shifts moving forward are going to be interactive. It's going to be uncomfortable. There's going to be some growing pains until there's not.
Yeah. I went to this restaurant had 2 locations, the same concept. And one of them was busy and around for forever, and one was new. The busy one and the one that was around forever had all the veterans, all those veteran servers, a lot of them. And when I went in, they really, to be honest with you, they did not want me there, or else that's what I felt. They didn't want me to like shadow them. They didn't want me to coach them. They didn't ask me questions, like all of those things. The new generation at the other restaurant, the newer restaurant, had young people, and we did a whole pre-shift lineup. I made them all do the mocks with me, and every single one of them was selling a higher PPA within an hour or two than every single server, a veteran server at the other location that thought that they knew how to do it all so well that they didn't want any feedback on anything.
Weren't they like, I just sold a calamari, Brandon?
So
I just
excited,
sold
giving me high fives, like it was because they were like, "Oh, I'm just gonna sell this," and it was like they were selling the $15 things, or at least trying to. Sometimes I was like, "Okay, now try to sell this one." It was the $36 sampler. Mind you, we were in West Virginia, so everything was not as expensive there. So the $36 sampler to the guests was a lot, and to them was a lot. And one of the kids went like 3 for 4 on selling the sampler to tables, and he was like amazed that you could even just go to tables and offer it in the right way, ask some questions to the guests, get to know them, what they like, and then offer it, and it just works.
Yeah.
So to me, I'll take the new generation over the old generation any day of the week,
Wow,
be able
thanks,
to
Brandon. Thanks a lot.
and be able to inspire them. Sorry, some of
All
your
right, I'm gonna go.
some of your people are a little stuck in their ways, Jess.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, it's hard, old dog, new tricks. But I will say, I'm even getting through to, I mean, Amanda sees 25 and 30-year veterans are coming around and rolling their eyes and be like, yeah, it actually, I started doing this thing. I haven't done it since the 80s and it does work, or whatever they're saying.
I
I
think too,
think
the
Jess,
thing one,
go ahead.
go
Yeah,
ahead.
Amanda.
One of the things that we're getting really good at now, getting well over 200 stores, is there's over 70 terms and ideologies in the restaurant launch, but we are getting really good at customizing it for what's going to work best for your store. So not every store needs all 70. Some stores are finding the 6 or 8 or 10 things that are perfect for them. And I think that's one of the great things about this is how you can customize it and make it fit your
Yeah,
store.
I'm working with a restaurant, a Mexican restaurant right now in Phoenix, and they literally just perfected 3 things I taught them, and they are skyrocketing. Only three things, but they mastered those 3 things.
Yeah.
Every single server now features at the table. Just that alone, their sales are going up. Heard.
Nice. I love that. And I think, Jess, what I was gonna say is you definitely have a better way of getting through to the veterans sometimes than I do. I guess because I'm younger and I don't have the resume that Jess Rowland has of 26 years at Hillstone. You can't really like go up against Jess Rowland and think that you know more than him. So that helps. But
Yeah, but I still need to be approachable, and I still need to
100%.
be one of them. And
Yeah.
I'm not coming at this from a better than point of view. I'm coming at it like I remember when they used to steal my pens. I remember when I had to back up ice. I remember when I had to do side work till 1 in the morning. And they're like, "Yeah, how did you know?" I'm like, "Because I am you." So I really, and that's a word I want you guys to write down right now, all you owners. We need to be approachable. These servers need to walk through that dining room and be approachable. Their faces need to look like I can ask him for a straw and I can ask her for a ketchup. I think many men are walking through this dining room looking like villains. Women are told to smile their whole lives. Men, you need to smile as well. Heard?
Heard.
Thank you so much.
Guys, if you're a manager in here or a director and you need a little extension on this because your owner's not answering, I'll make one-time exceptions for.
I'm going to head out, please. I would like you, any last questions for me? This got me really hungry and I'm going to eat some lunch. So who has questions for me? I'll stay a couple more minutes.
Couple more minutes. I do have to run as well soon. So this is your last chance if you want to check out. If you, at this point, if you have to still talk to your owner or another decision maker to make this decision, put your email or your phone number in the chat, last chance, and I will make sure I give you a specific link or help you out.
Can I tell them what we're charging other people? This is great.
No, yeah, now you kind of have to. They're
I
gonna
just 2,400. No. It's fine. It's just really, it's really
Yep,
awesome.
yep.
And it's because it's a little bit beta. We just opened this school and we really want people in there and we really want to grow this. And we are doing very well and we're just going to keep on going and we're a freight train.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, by January, this school group will be
Yeah.
pretty
All right. No
pretty
other
freaking
questions
full.
at all? You got some emails here, Brandon.
Oh, we
Thank you
got it.
so
I
much,
have one more.
everyone. I hope this was helpful. I saw a lot of people take notes. I appreciate that. And I hope to meet some of you soon. Bye-bye.
And Peter, I'll text you or call. Just shoot me a text, Peter, what you want to do exactly. Thanks, Chelsea. Okay, cool. I got a couple emails that I'll send. Last chance with emails, and I'll email you a little bit of an extension for a couple people. Guilford, I'll hit you up on WhatsApp, okay?
Okay, I was about to write you a message. Yeah, we're still. I'm definitely gonna do it. So I'm just holding on and waiting for the owner to
Okay.
answer me,
Okay.
and we will keep it on.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I got a couple more emails to send, so oh gosh, I got a bunch now. Oh boy. Jeez. I got 1,000. Okay, actual last chance. Now that I'm still copy and pasting emails, actual last chance. Sending me your email or phone number, and I will give you a little bit of an extension. Okay. All right. Doesn't look like we have too many people left, so I'm gonna call it here. Oh wait, we got one more message. Oh, I got that one already. Don't worry about that. All right. I got the DM, so I put that already to send you an email. All right. Thank you guys so much for attending. For those that got the bundle, we'll be in touch. Make sure you schedule your call with me and bring your managers to that call, and I'll onboard you guys and help you out with everything. You can bring any questions to that as well if you want to ask me questions in private. And I will see you guys soon. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Very much.
See you, Guilford.